In previous video, I showed that PowerShell maintains the data type between pipelines as much as it can. So for example, here you can see I'm using the select object as well as the where object. If I query this here now, then as you can see, it has returned all the properties, but it has returned the data type as selected.system.io.fileinfo. Whereas if you didn't use the select object, so if you take this out, then you won't get the word selected. So PowerShell tries to let you know what data type the original object was, but because you have removed some properties from the original, so here it just adds the word selected, because if you did this, such as, so you just pick one property from there, and if I were to run this, you can see it's just got one property, and that's the file name that it returns. So here it's added the word selected. But if you take this out completely, and you go directly from the where object, which doesn't necessarily modify the original data type. And if you query this now, you will get the data type, but without the word selected. So if I run this, and as you can see, we now get system.io.fileinfo, whereas previously we had selected.system.io.fileinfo. So the word selected have been added on when you use the select object in the pipeline. But in some instances, PowerShell doesn't maintain the original object type. So here we are actually, rather than using select object, we are changing the format completely of the data type that we got. The format table will modify the original object completely. It's a completely different structure. So if I run this now, and as you can see, we got the data type as Microsoft PowerShell commands internal format the end data. So this is the data type that we got, and it's got completely different properties, as you can see. So I hope this makes sense. Sometimes PowerShell will not maintain the original data type of an object, whereas in other instances, it will try and let you know what the data type was of the original object where it can. Now with select object, because you have modified and only selected one property out of the 20 or so that were available, you have modified it, but it still kind of shows you what data type it was. In this instance, when you format table, it is a completely different object. So I hope you found this useful in determining when is it likely the PowerShell will modify the object type and when it will not.